When I was at my previous church in Fort Worth, I did communications and different things there. Any communication we did, any promotion we did outside the walls, inside the walls of the church was my responsibility. And one time we did something, we left something out of an on-stage announcement. We made a value judgment as a worship team, wasn't just my decision, but we left something out. And it was very important to this one person in our church who happened to be on the board of the church. That's scary. He fired off this email to me and to our worship leader and to all the other trustee board and to our senior pastor, and just laid waste, scorched earth over all of us. It was bad. And our pastor was great. I mean, he handled it well, but it wasn't done with me. I didn't have to deal with it, Chuck, but every meeting I was senior pastor, he would say, "Have you talked to Chuck yet?" And I didn't want to deal with it. But as I met with Russ and went going, I started realizing, it is messing with me. I can't be in the same room with that dude. It bothers me. When I see him, I'm going, I give him a massive eye roll, even if it's not on the outside, it's on the inside. We went to Cracker Barrel finally, after a few months of just suffering. And I just laid the truth out. I said, dude, man, when you did that, where I come from, you mess with my, trustee, deacon, when you do stuff like that, you made me think I'm gonna lose my job. I'm not gonna be able to provide for my family. I didn't do any of that stuff. It wasn't my responsibility alone. I didn't know if you were mounting a crusade to run me off. Well, I didn't know. And his mouth open wide. I had no idea. You got to understand where I come from. Working in ministry, that's usually the death knell of the end of your job, right or wrong. And he apologized, and we worked it out, and I explained to him, I'm not trying to down your ministry. He had a Celebrate Recovery ministry. He was a 25-year recovering alcoholic and drug addict, was now a civil engineer, and just had a serious heart for dragging people out of what they were in and restoring them with Christ and helping to restore their life. I remember the first time I went and spoke at his Celebrate Recovery. They were praying in the parking lot because they'd just driven to Oklahoma that morning and dragged a guy out of a crack house and brought him back. Him and about 5 guys jumped in a van and drove 4 hours away, pulled this guy out of somewhere and drug him back down to Fort Worth to get him out of that environment. Through that, Chuck and I, we really became pretty good friends. At the time I wasn't speaking. I was feeling like God was doing something in my life to move toward this type of ministry. Really didn't have any occasion. And Chuck sent an email around for people to speak at Celebrate Recovery. And Chuck gave me my first speaking opportunity in Celebrate Recovery, and became one of my most avid, advocates, encouragers. I can't tell you how many times he pulled me aside. Hey, you need to do this. And I wouldn't be doing this now if God hadn't sent Chuck into my life. And honestly, if we hadn't gotten it straightened out, I don't know how God would have made the change in my life to be where I am right now.